My name is Tiffany Spraggins-Payne. You are listening to Zig Zag. On Zig Zag, we discuss inclusion and diversity news, current trends, and have special guests speak about their experiences, including their competitive edge in the marketplace.
Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Martin, the producer for the Grit Studios. If you've listened to our podcast before, you've probably heard me speak at the end of each episode. Tiffany's out of town this week at COMTO, the Conference of Minority Transportation Officials, so we have a special episode for you. I went and searched through the Zig Zag archive to find some of the best advice that Tiffany's received from her past guests. So these moments capture not only the heart and essence of Zig Zag, they also provide some pretty practical and grounded advice for moving forward in your business. So this is a very short episode this week, and we really hope you enjoy it. First up, we're going to listen to Shayna Sally McMillan from episode 9 give her definition of giving.
Giving means to me, I can go back to a space in one of my favorite poets, Dr. Maya Angelou. And one of the quotes that always resonates with me that she uses in her collection, because you know it's extensive, but it is, one must not know just how to accept a gift, but with what grace to share it. That is the essence of giving to me, in that it is our responsibility as women of color to give back to our communities.
Yes.
To help sustain the change that we want to see in the world. So in the space of giving and philanthropy, it's all about giving back and sustaining my community, as well as healing and helping individuals move forward.
This next bit is from episode 13 with Joyelle Crawford. Here, Joyelle is talking about how she was able to find clients and grow her business when she first started.
No one knew Crawford leadership strategies. So I had to go out and shop my brand. I was in Uber pools. I was telling anyone who was asking me, what do? I grow leaders for a living. And I'm handing my card out all the time. I wasn't looking for clients. I was looking to help people.
Yes.
And I think that's a big piece of when you're building your business and starting it off. You need to set the intention of collaboration and support instead of, I need clients. I need to pay the bills.
Here we have a clip with Betty DeRosso from episode 10 discussing her views on engineering as a form of service.
You were a architect assistant at Drexel University.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Tell us about how that experience that you had helped catapult your business.
Awesome. That experience was the pivotal point in my career when I realized that being an engineer meant serving others, understanding what that discipline called for. That discipline doesn't call for you to just collect a check.
Yes.
That discipline calls for you to solve problems, solve civil problems that will improve the greater good for everyone. But I realized that you have to have human interaction.
Yes.
There's no way that you can solve a problem without interacting with the people that you want to serve.
Now we'll go back to episode 15 and listen to Melissa Alam's advice to anyone starting a business.
First piece of advice is to just do it, just launch. Because if you don't launch, you're never going to know what works, what doesn't work. No one's ever going to know about, your passions or your ideas or your company if you don't launch and just try it out. Worst case scenario, you figure out that you need to switch some things up and then you relaunch. Best case scenario, you fly and you grow a team and things start to pick up and you learn about your strengths and weaknesses. So always, always, always just do it. Just launch. Stop. Lose that fear of it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. There's never going to be a perfect time. Just do it.
And this little bit right here is from Quanisha Green from episode 12, and she actually gives some pretty similar advice to Melissa.
In many different spaces, you hear that user feedback is important, right? So tech, you have a trial and then they're like, fill out the survey and they'll release beta 2.0 version,
Yes.
whatever it is. And a lot of times, I'll just say people, because it's happened with women and men. I think sometimes, especially if you have a type A personality, you think you can't release something until it's perfect.
Yes.
And I'm always like, pilot your work. And I realize now, I'm like, I was in lots of pilots as a student. So maybe that's helped influence that orientation that, you don't have to tie yourself down. It doesn't have to be this forever. Or if it doesn't work, at least you have real world information to review.
And now next up, we have Nicole Brown from episode 22 telling Tiffany about how she didn't let anyone stand in her way during her college days.
You know, in the 90s, there were a lot of Black females that were starting in our industry.
Yes.
And we were like all young and excited. And there were a lot of detractors. You know, I had professors that just, you know, wouldn't really respect you, wouldn't, you know, really give you good advice, where they would talk to other students that were, you know, white differently. And I would sit in the front of the class and I would know their name and they would know mine, and I'd come to office hours. I was like, you're not going to ignore me. I'm not going to let you, you know, distract me, because you might not think I can do this, but I know I can do this. So you just kind of have to power through and know that you're worthy of all that is due to you.
Now, Bonnie Bogle from episode 16 gave some great advice on building your team.
For building a great team, I would say that was probably the biggest value I got and the biggest push I got for both keeping me going when things were hard, but also helping me think outside of the box, and for really just the drive to continue to build the best that you can. So I think who you surround yourself with is hugely important. As far as how to evaluate how to do that, I would say think about what's important to you and your company, and just be really upfront with yourself. For me, particularly for my last company, for Mapbox, what that meant was, it did not mean work-life balance, for example, but what it meant was people who were absolutely tenacious in building the best product, highly driven, amazingly smart in different ways, but also came at things with different angles. I wanted people around me that thought differently than me. And also, we talked a lot about how we work together, very upfront. And that was something that was helpful, because then everyone was on the same page.
And finally, our guest last week, Yasmin Mustafa, had some awesome insights into how she and her team prototyped the Athena.
One of the things that we did that I'm really proud that we did is we would go to sororities, for example. Okay. And we'd say, hey, if you we'll buy you pizza if you let us just have half an hour of your time. And they usually meet together once a month for a few hours. And we'd buy them pizza and we'd get up and we'd put together the designs that we had and we'd explain what we were doing. And we always just asked one question. And the question was always the same. And it was, why would you not use this? Or why would you not wear this?
Okay.
And then we took all that feedback and then we'd go and iterate again and come back. And then when we heard nothing, we were like, okay, we got this. So we focused on disconfirming evidence because to us, what we found was that it was really easy for people when you're face to face with them to tell you what you wanted to hear. Yes. But it was very difficult to get them to give very honest, candid feedback. Allowing them the opportunity to say what they didn't like and having that be the focus helped us make the product a lot better.
My name is Tiffany Spraggins-Payne, and I'm signing off.
This is Ryan Martin. If you enjoy our podcast, the most important thing you can do to support us is share this episode with your family and friends and let us know what you think about it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you find your podcasts. Subscribing is 100% free. Don't know how to subscribe? Don't worry about it. There's a video walking you through the process in the show notes below. We will see you next week, and thank you for listening.